Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Conversation on Yoga for Health, an event organized by the Permanent Mission of India in association with the World Health Organization and Department of Public Information, United Nations, on the occasion of the third International Day of Yoga. The United Nations endorsed the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi by adopting the resolution that proclaimed 21st June as the International Day of Yoga. The resolution notes the importance of individuals and populations making healthier choices and following lifestyle patterns that foster good health. In this context, the theme for today's dialogue with the yoga masters who are amongst with us today is Yoga for Health. We will start the program with a movie entitled Yoga and Harmony to introduce the concept of yoga for health. May I request the movie, please?
On 27 September 2014, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi proposed an International Day of Yoga at the United Nations General Assembly. According to the Taittiriya Upanishad, the human being is made up of 5 layers or koshas that act in unison.
When the koshas are out of balance, they lead to disease, disharmony, and suffering. When brought together through yoga, they lead to a state of perfect health, a meditative mind, and pure bliss.
The WHO recognized yoga as a traditional medicine of India.
India believes that yoga belongs to everyone, and traditional and classical yoga should be shared with the world in an open and transparent way.
The benefits of yoga are now being recognized by science and mainstream medicine.
In India, the healing powers of yoga have been known for thousands of years, and along with Ayurveda, has been critical to Indian healthcare in the prevention of diseases, promotion of higher consciousness, and the management of wellness, to give the practitioner freedom. Yoga has been clinically proven to reduce anxiety, stress, and substantially affect and improve the activities of the brain and our genes. The practice of yoga brings about balance, well-being, happiness, and the freedom to live life fully. As more and more people take up yoga around the world today, we may actually see the beginning of a global shift in consciousness, leading to a more balanced and harmonious planet. Yoga practitioners become more conscious consumers, better human beings, more environmentally conscious, and good leaders. This is the power of yoga, and it can only be good for the world.
On 11th December 2014, the United Nations passed a resolution making 21st June the International Day of Yoga. 177 nations co-sponsored the resolution, a record in UN history.
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस पर विश्व भर के योग प्रेमियों को अनेक अनेक शुभकामनाएं।
My next guest is Swami Sivananda, and he's doing a wonderful job because he's doing the yoga workshops in Austria. You have your program in Austria, a retreat center there, And you have a book that helps people because your book is Yoga, your practical companion. Would you like to talk to us about how you're interfacing the public and bringing yoga to the public? Again, Bruce Lipton has to say there's a wonderful video that will be playing. Thank you.
Namaste. Yoga is a centuries-old guide to healthy living developed by ancient Indian sages. With its unique blend of physical exercises, psychological insight, and philosophy, it can help you to bring your body, mind, and spirit into better balance. Yoga takes a holistic approach to life, enabling you to experience complete equilibrium inside and out. I have spent over 30 years of my life training yoga teachers in Europe, India, and the Americas, and I am greatly inspired to share a practical vision of peace which I have inherited from my teacher Swami Vishnudevananda, who started the first yoga teachers training course in the West in 1969. In the name of the Board of Directors of the International Sivananda Yoga Vedanta Centers, and in the name of thousands of peace-loving yoga practitioners worldwide, I'm looking forward to share the great message of yoga at the United Nations in New York. Health is wealth. Peace of mind is happiness. Yoga shows the way.
I really want to thank you because you're an emissary helping bring the message to the world by training people to go out through the world. And one of the things that's an interesting question is because a lot of people want to practice yoga, but that's a time element, a time-consuming element for a lot of people, and especially in the Western world here where there's so limited time. In this regard, could you help us with what are the best things that you can do if there's a short period of time for people to engage in yoga?
Well, when you start yoga, I think you need to spend some time. You cannot just say, okay, I just do a little yoga and it's going to be 5 minutes every week and this will be my yoga. Normally people go into yoga a little more intensively, at least 2-3 times a week. But then it will start to have an effect on them. It has an effect on body, mind, and spirit. And once that is settled, there is, everybody finds a certain maintenance practice, but I don't think less than half an hour will be possible, because once you start the half an hour, it feels so good, you make it 1 hour.
So tell me then about your work of bringing this out to the world. You must have some feedback from all of the people you sent out. Could you give us some insight about what they're finding in their world?
I would like to speak about something which I'm observing. It's maybe not a direct feedback which I'm getting in words always, but it was something which I experienced in my own teacher's training, and also I see in so many who go through these these are not just academic courses at all. You go through 1 month's in-depth training from 6 in the morning till 10 at night, and those who teach it, they're part of it, of the practice. I see that yoga does not work just from the waking state level. Okay, we tend to analyze and understand everything from the waking state, but as more I practice and teach it, I see that the yogis look at it from a waking, dream state, and deep sleep level, which does have implications to health. And I would just like to give a bit of that, what I see and what I would like to share. When we wake up in the morning, we always the first thing go to the bathroom, and then you look in the mirror and say, hi, okay, I've seen you before. And then you shave or you dress up. But there is this immediate idea, I am this body. And this can have certain health implications. We may not think about it, but everybody sees people dying here and there, and we start thinking, what will happen with my body here? It is also just like a rented car. So fear, even though on the subconscious mind, has a corroding effect on our life energy and drains it, and does have psychosomatic impact on our physical health. The other aspect is then the natural search for happiness. If we only look at it from the waking state, where we are naturally conditioned by thinking that we are bodies, then we may look more in the physical world of the senses, and it is very difficult to get 100% happiness. Maybe Saturday night fever helps a little bit, but then Sunday morning comes. And so it is something which people try, but not successfully though, to find 100% happiness that way. And then slowly there comes obstinate reactions, such as addictions, or just then let's go against the body if it doesn't give me happiness, and I don't eat, and I become eating disorders and so on. All these things are just due to a certain life perspective which is only from the waking state. But once you practice yoga, you end up, as many of you know, with a good final relaxation, where you relax those legs, you relax those arms, they relax so much you don't even know where they are anymore. And you don't worry about it. You're not worried. You feel in yourself complete, as if you were already in the next state, which is the dream state, the deep sleep state. You reach a perspective where you experience, it's not a logical training, you experience, I am not just body, there are other experiences as well, and a little bit of that fear of death, which nobody can say you can just wipe it away, but it may be reduced a little bit more. And normally I see people who practice yoga, especially those who are in the teacher's training, I can see after a while they look for happiness, of course, on the physical level also, but it's the balanced experience amongst the senses, the mind, and the emotions. And I think these are very important aspects for health, because it is all, after all, psychosomatic. First the mind, then the body. And it is interesting how physical practice such as yoga, which seems so physical, by the time you reach final relaxation, it puts you in a spot, in an experience where you go beyond this pure waking state consciousness. And it has a healing aspect to it.
Well, this is very exciting, of course, on the individual level, but I also know now, because you're creating a giant community around the world, are you experiencing the communal impact of yoga instead of not just the individual, but changing the world in a community?
I would like to comment, just a colleague who was sitting here just before, that people who practice yoga, because it works, because it is kind of self-evident that people feel a unity amongst themselves. You know, it's not this person, that person, man or woman, old or young, or this country or this religion or that religion, because the yoga experience is so true and can be proven, self-proven by practice, that people just come together much more.
Well, thank you very much, and I want to thank you for your contribution to world peace and harmony. Thank you so very much. Ambassador from Nepal?
Hello.
Thank you. I'm from Nepal, and I feel so honored to be benefited from this conversation on yoga for health. It's an amazing experience, and what we had conceived originally when India took the lead and we all support it is coming to fruition. It's wonderful to experience all this. Specifically, I have two questions for any dignitary who would care to respond. One is about the availability of the service of yoga. Yoga should be free, yoga should be universally available, and with these numerous institutions, together with very qualified and leading institutions, we see the growing interest world over. Now, when it comes to health, we must focus on the proper practice of yoga. And if it is not done in proper manner, it could be counterproductive in many respects. Now, with the growing interest and a kind of commercialization, and at times even the trend of over-commercialization of yoga and yoga teaching and yoga institutions, do you think it is time now to think of any mechanism to have a quality control over the service of yoga that is being made available to the interested practitioners all over the world? Or do you think yoga itself has, like ocean, a self-regulating quality, so we don't have to worry about that? And if there is a need, where would be the kind of responsibility be laid? Would it be WHO when it comes to yoga for health, or would there be the need of any other structure in that regard?
Training and how we bring yoga to the world. I think on the panel here, Swami Sivananda could help us best answer that, because as a trainer, you can offer insights on how you do that training.
Your question was, sorry, is it on? Oh, yes. Hello? Hello? Okay. Is it okay? Okay. Well, yoga is already regulated in a number of countries. Spain. In Germany, it's the health insurances which are regulated. Quality Council of India has created a regulatory system. I think it is only natural, if yoga has become such a widespread phenomena, that the authorities of the country also take interest in it, not only interest, but try to help. Because what can an individual yoga teacher do? So it is good that there is some regulation, but I think the main important regulation is you must understand, as a yoga teacher, you take responsibility. You cannot just teach a little bit here and there. If you teach somebody, you have to be available for the person for a longer time on a regular basis. And when you encourage people to practice at home, there has to be a feedback. There has to be a... It's human, isn't it? So many, many things are regulated on the human level, because yoga doesn't start with diagnosis, even though therapeutic yoga now is on the advance, but there are limitations to therapeutic approaches to yoga. If you are a therapist, who are you meeting? Are you meeting a student or a patient? The psychological setup of a person who comes to a person saying, you are a therapist, help me, then your attitude is that of a patient. But yoga cannot be learned that way. Yoga has to be learned with the attitude of a student. So there has to be a certain openness, and there has to be a certain openness for guidance and for making little adjustments, and the teacher has to have the capacity to see what the student can do. And as I said, there has to be an ongoing relationship. That is on the ground level how regulation will work. No government regulation can substitute that. But we definitely agree that some regulation can be helpful. But putting all the yogis of the whole world into one system, I'm not so sure about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Distinguished yogis, excellencies, friends and colleagues, this has been a most enlightening and inspiring session on how and why yoga works. The conversation today with such accomplished personalities has been most enriching. On behalf of the Permanent Mission of India, the World Health Organization, and the Department of Public Information of the United Nations, may I thank all the distinguished speakers for sharing their thoughts with us today as we discuss the benefits of yoga for health on this third International Day of Yoga. And thank you all for joining us today. Thank you very much.
शुद्धज्ञान कमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ देवाये नमः। ॐ सूर्याय नमः। ॐ गधाय नमः। ॐ पूषणे नमः। ॐ हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ॐ मरीजये नमः। ॐ सावित्रे नमः। ॐ आदित्याय नमः। ॐ अर्काय नमः।
देव देव शिवानंद दीनबंधु पाहि मां। देव देव शिवानंद दीनबंधु पाहि मां। चंद्रवदन मंदहास प्रेम रूप रक्ष मां। चंद्रवदन मंदहास प्रेम रूप रक्ष मां। देव देव शिवानंद दीनबंधु पाहि मां। देव देव शिवानंद दीनबंधु पाहि मां। मधुर गीत गान लोल ज्ञान रूप पाहि मां। मधुर गीत गान लोल ज्ञान रूप पाहि मां। समस्त लोक पूजनीय मोहनांग रक्ष मां। समस्त लोक पूजनीय मोहनांग रक्ष मां। देव देव शिवानंद दीनबंधु पाहि मां। देव देव शिवानंद दीनबंधु पाहि मां। दिव्य गंगा तीरवास दानशील पाहि मां। दिव्य गंगा तीरवास दानशील पाहि मां। पाप हरण पुण्यशील परम पुरुष रक्ष मां। पाप हरण पुण्यशील परम पुरुष रक्ष मां। देव देव शिवानंद दीनबंधु पाहि मां। देव देव शिवानंद दीनबंधु पाहि मां। भक्त लोक वास स्वामीनाथ पाहि मां भक्तलोक हृदय वास स्वामीनाथ पाहि मां चित्त स्वरूप चिदानंद